Yes, the purpose here is to give people a voice. It's high time we stopped keeping quiet. It's high time people found their voices and used those voices. Someone once said that evil continue to thrive because good, or would I say righteousness, keeps quiet. So when you stay in an environment where everything that goes on is wrong and you know and you keep quiet about it because you don't want to ruffle some shoulders, you don't want to cause any wahala, I say it to you, in fact, I put it to you that you're part of the problem. The least you can do is speak up. That is the least you can do. Because when you do speak up, you give someone permission to speak up also. You give someone the mental capacity to do something about it. So yes, do not be part of what is not going well. You may not have all the answers, but at least if you have one answer, just imagine you have one answer, I have one answer, the other person has one answer. Collectively, we have all the answers to all the questions. Nigeria will be great again, because one with God is with majority. Have you ever heard any story where someone with God was destroyed because God did not show up for him? It's not possible. You know, I mean, growing up, I saw a movie. I can't remember the name now. You know, it was about this Catholic ladies who took the gospel of Jesus Christ to a particular city, you know, to a particular village, and in that village they had their own god. So they were going to sacrifice those ladies, you know, the nuns. They were going to sacrifice them, and then they had to put the power to test. And these nuns prayed and sang, and fire descended from heaven and consumed the what do they call them now? The shrines, yes, of this powerful men of the village. So God doesn't fail you. He never fails. He comes through for you. So don't ever think that, oh, maybe I should have a backup. See, God should be your plan A, plan B, plan C, plan everything. Because he never fails. He never fails. He comes through in his own time, not in your time. So the reason a lot of us think that, time is going, I've not gotten married, time is going, I don't have a job, time is going, I've not made money, time is going. A lot of things we wonder about and worry our minds over. The person who created the world is not ruled by time. He's in the timelessness sphere, if I can put it that way. So it is you that thinks time is going, year one, year two. God doesn't see it that way. He doesn't. How do you even know that time is going? That means you are judging the course of your life by the times and seasons that the world has given to you, by what people, the societal standard or norm. So you see a 25-year-old young man who is crying that time is going, he has not achieved anything in his life. Oh God, if you achieve everything what you want to do for your life at year 25, and you're supposed to live for maybe 75 or 80 years old in this world, what will you be doing for the remaining 50 something or 40 something years? What exactly will you be doing? So stop putting yourself under unnecessary pressure, wanting to keep up with the Joneses, wanting to keep up with the Kardashians, because time is of God. He's going to come through for you in his time. In his time. Never forget that. So do not just be patient, be trusting. Because it is what you do while you are waiting that is even important than the fact that you are waiting. It's just like a student who, you know, your exam is coming up in maybe 2 months, and rather than you prepare for the exam, you are waiting for the exam to come. You are worried that you've not read, and you're still not reading. Are you getting me, somebody? So it is critical that you understand that you are not judged by time, by your own time. It is critical that you know that. The only thing you should use time for is to measure stuff, measure what you're doing, to set goals, because when you set goals and they are not time bound, you just may be wasting your time. It's not for you to tell God He's not answering your prayers. So you need to calm down. There's nothing, absolutely nothing that you can do today. And I say it to you. There's nothing you can do today that will make God do for you today what He intends to do for you tomorrow. There's nothing. So why are you stressing over it? Are you getting me? So while you wait for your blessing, for your promotion, for your business breakthrough, for your financial breakthrough, for your career to kick off, for whatsoever it is, or for even your child to become what you want him to be, whatever it is, you need to be patient. While you are patient, you are trusting, and you are going about your business. You're not sitting in one place waiting for God to answer your prayer. You are going about your business. Because God will do what He's going to do. He doesn't even need your help to do it. He doesn't even need your help. He's God. In the twinkle of an eye, everything you've been praying for can come to pass. So why not just be patient and trust that God is still in the business of performing miracles. Another dimension is that a lot of times we are not even ready for what we are asking for. You're not even ready. You're not. He will not give unto you what you are not prepared to receive. And He's not going to come and help you to prepare. He's going to give you that response. It is your job. Why was it David that could knock down Goliath? Why David? Why was it David? He was prepared for a time as that. This guy was already dealing with things that were worse, bigger, stronger than Goliath. He was already doing those. So when he saw Goliath, it was a piece of cake for him. It was easy. Yes, God helped him, but it was easy. Because he had gone about building capacity. He had gone about building capacity. Over the years, this guy was tending over flock. So the bear appears, he fights a bear, he fights a lion, he fights all these dangerous animals, and it is one so-called Goliath that he won't deal with. Think about it now. You say, think critically. So you want the blessing, you want financial breakthrough. Everybody shout, I want to be rich. There's this popular song now, I'll be rich till I die. Good song, right? But do you have the capacity to manage the kind of wealth you're asking for? Have you not wondered why those who hit the jackpot, maybe play bet and they suddenly just win like 20 million naira or 50 million naira, after a while they go back to having nothing? Have you not wondered why? Because if you do not develop the capacity to manage wealth, if that wealth is dumped on you, you will lose it. Because you cannot function at the level that bettered that wealth. You can't create it. You can't maintain it. So rather than worrying about you not being rich, go develop your capacity to manage wealth. So that when the wealth eventually comes, because it will come, seed time and harvest will never fail. When that wealth eventually comes, you will be able to manage it. So the reason a lot of people are poor is not because God doesn't want to bless them, but because they cannot manage the wealth or the riches or the money they're asking for. You can't. I challenge you this morning that while you wait for your blessing, build capacity. Build capacity. You gotta build it. You gotta learn. You gotta learn. there's a report I read that billionaires who inherited their wealth, those who became billionaires by inheritance, so your father was a billionaire and then he passes and willed everything to you, these guys don't keep the wealth till the third generation. They lose it. They lose it. This is for someone who probably has even been with the father, lived with the father, yet he couldn't keep the wealth. Because it takes a certain level of lifestyle, a certain level of knowledge, know-how to build something. And when you take that thing and put it into the hands of someone who has no capacity or insufficient capacity, he's going to lose it. And it is not village people. It is just that you do not know how to manage it. You don't. Are you getting me, somebody? And this is really critical this morning. It is really critical. I need you to understand that while you wait for your blessings, you need to prepare for those blessings. You need to prepare for the blessings. It will not just fall on your lap. It won't. It won't. And how do you prepare for your blessings? How do you prepare for your blessings? How do you ensure that you are preparing for what you are asking for? How do you ensure that? I'll share with you. I'll share with you. And you can find the simple one-line answer in 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 15. 2 Timothy chapter number 2 and verse 15. Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Let's pick the eighth part of the verse, which says, study to show thyself approved. What that implies is the number one criterion you need to be able to be eligible for any form of blessing is for you to study that thing. So you see people who want to get married today and they've never studied what it requires to be married. They've never read any book on relationships. They've never even read the book of Proverbs. You've never read any of this thing. You do not attend counseling, because I know some people are against counseling. You don't. You do not account to people who are already doing what you want to do. See, we know that you have no control over what's going to happen tomorrow, but the least you can do is have control over what you are doing today, which is to put yourself in a position where you influence tomorrow's occurrences. And that's by studying. So you want to become a doctor, you spend the next 7 or 8 years in the medical school, right? You want to become a pilot, you go to the aviation school, you study. Okay? Or in today's world where anybody can go online and study in a few months to become a software developer. But the fact is, you study. And when you do study this stuff, you begin to practice it. And when you practice it, you begin to get jobs on those stuff. You become better. People start calling you a professional. So for every of these things I've mentioned, you study before you do them. You don't suddenly wake up and you say, I'm a medical doctor, or I'm a pilot, or I'm a software engineer, or what else. You don't just wake up. You first go and study. You make friends with those that are doing it already. You have questions, you ask them, you learn from them. You are humble enough to learn from them. But when it comes to marriage, you just jump into it. That is the recipe for failure, I say to you. You see people who just, I remember one of the shows we had a woman said she's been doing business and she's not succeeding. When she starts this business, she fails. She starts the next one, she fails. And I asked her a simple question: have you learned how to do business? Have you learned how to do business? You did not bring anything from heaven. Nobody. You, me, nobody. You didn't bring anything from heaven. Yes, you may have innate skills and abilities and talent that God has deposited within you, but if you do not refine those things, you will not be able to maximize them. So you want to do business and you've never read any book on businesses. You've never read any book on marketing. You've never attended any seminar. And you want to succeed? It's not what they call mini mo. Let me just do this one if it will work. Yes, I know the world is an experiment. You have to keep trying stuff out, but don't waste your time. First find out how it works and then infuse your own touch of uniqueness to it. People have succeeded at business long before you. When you realize that the way business people think is a whole lot different from the way other people think. A wise man once told me, he said, Yemi, never you throw money at a problem. First, throw your brain at it. If your brain cannot solve the problem, money cannot solve the problem. I was like, yes. So you see why people who have a lot of capital, after a while, the business shuts down because they don't have the capacity to grow that business. You don't have the managerial skills, you don't have the marketing skills, you don't have the administrative skills, you don't have the financial skill to keep the business running. And you want to grow a business. The reason a lot of people are even poor personally in your life is because you don't have the skill to maintain money, to manage money. So you are working and you are earning a lot, but then you look at your account every time and it's almost zero. And you're wondering what is taken away from it. Nothing is taking away money from you. You are the one spending your money. It is not village people. Most times it will not be other people. It is you. It is you. So you got to study. You got to learn. You have to build capacity. You just have to. You just have to. Interestingly, I had something else set for this morning. I was going to share something entirely different, and at the 8 o'clock I was going to play a sermon, a message by Luke Elder, Unleashing Your Genius. But as I opened the mind, the Holy Spirit said, just touch on this and let people know that the reason they are not being blessed is because they are not ready. Ask yourself, let's take that little exercise right now. Quickly. Ask yourself, just think, what is that thing you are expecting? What is that thing you've been praying for right now? Right? You've said, you know what you're praying for, right? Good. Now, look within you critically now, the next few seconds. And without you, outside you, and be honest to yourself. See, do you have what it takes to receive, manage, and multiply that level of blessing you're asking for? So you're a parent, you're a mother, you're a father, or let me say, you're an expectant parent, you're a man, your wife, or your husband, and you want to have a child. Are there any steps, any step you are taking to ensure that when you do have this child, God will be proud of you? Are there steps like that? Because what you do while you're waiting is a function of your faith. It's a function of your faith. So, you are expectant, you want to have a child. I would say to you, start baby shopping. Start recognizing things that your baby will need and getting them. If you have an extra room where you want your baby to be, where you want your baby will live, design the room in expectation of a child. Put the beautiful colors in there. Let it be your consciousness. Study books about parenting. When they call any meeting or seminar or conference or whatever it is for parents, attend. See, these things are expression of faith. The expression of faith. So stop sulking and start preparing. No matter what it is that you want, start preparing for it. Because God never fails. It's going to come through. But when it comes through, will you be able to keep the blessing you are asking for? Remember, I said one of the important ways to prepare for your blessing is to study. Find out information. Find out information. It is in the process of information acquisition that you even understand what you are asking for. It may look good, look nice, but do you even know what it is experientially? It is while you find information, you hear testimonials of those who have experienced whatever it is you want, and you know that, am I sure I want this thing at all? Is somebody getting me now? It's critical, really critical, that you study to show thyself approved unto God. Did you hear that? Unto God, not unto man. Not unto man. Yeah, God will use man to deliver your blessings to you, but he is the source. Man is the resource. So do not look up to a man as the source of your blessing. God is the source. Man can only be a resource. I remember some time ago, I had the opportunity of being interviewed for a particular position, and I recall one of the panelists, one of the ladies who sat on the panel, said something around, trying to recall her right words now. There's something about payment and don't I want this particular salary, blah blah blah, because I was bent on something. Said, oh, but, and I recall I told her that it is not that money that will make me wealthy. It is God that will make me wealthy. And I said with so much confidence. One of the things she said was, don't you want to buy a car? And I said, I have a car. I said, but you want a bigger one? I said, God will provide. When I need a bigger car, I will tell God. He will provide. He owns everything. Everything he owns. So he's going to give me what I want, or what he wants me to have. But I'm not going to look up to you as my source. You are a resource. So if I'm going to be able to put together, some money from what you pay me, right? It is God that is making that provision. He's just using you as this resource. He's the source. I hope somebody is not confused this morning. That God is the source. Man is the resource. So your job is just a resource. Your job is not your source of wealth or financial breakthrough. Your job isn't. So if you have that understanding, you know that your job can never make you wealthy, no matter the kind of job you do. Because statistically, an employer will never pay you more than 10% of what you actually worth. Imagine how many hours you spend at your place of work on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, at the end of the year, and see how much comes in. I mean, this is me being realistic, right? So you may not earn enough. So if you are seeing your job as your source of provision, that's not a good thing to do, man. For a lot of ladies, you want to decide on who to get married to, and one of your major criteria is if he's rich, if he has money. And as much as that is important, I mean, a man should have no business going to ask a woman to marry if you can't provide for her needs, at least the basic one: accommodation, feeding, clothing, basic stuff of life. You should be able to, you have a roof over your head, at least. But the point where the lady begins to expect that you are Dangote before she can agree to you is just hilarious. Because it just shows that you don't have belief in yourself. You don't have a plan for your life. You're probably going to be a liability to him. So you wonder why after a couple of years, the man moves out to find another woman, because he doesn't see value in you. Because all he does when it comes to you is give, give, give. All you do when it comes to him is collect, collect, collect. You're not bringing anything to the table. Like they say, you're not adding any value. So he returns from work and is discussing with you challenges he's facing, and all you need to do, or all you have to say is Telemundo something. It's not difficult to catch when your man is lying, because he can't tell lies consistently. It is almost impossible. It is almost impossible. In fact, if you are attracting someone that is telling you lies consistently and then you're falling for it, you should also check yourself. Because the truth is, the first step to personal success, self-success, right, is self-discovery. But the first step to self-discovery is self-honesty. When you look at yourself and you can tell yourself, this is who I am, this is what I am. The person, like our last caller said, a car wash guy takes the client's car to woo his babe or something. See, it's hilarious. You can't want to marry someone who... Okay, I think we're going to dedicate a show to this particular conversation pretty soon, because it's really easy to observe patterns. Ask questions. You want to get married to him? Do you know any of his colleagues? Have you ever been to his place of work? See, we'll talk about this. We'll talk about this. May God help us, May God help us. May God help us to make the right decisions all the time. All right? My name is Yemi Adioye, and I'll catch you on the other side.